Hi guys, it's Erin Lemon-Jack. If you don't know me, most of you are on my email list, but if this has been forwarded to you, I am an executive speaking coach, a business coach for speakers, and a spiritual thought leader. And I have an amazing thing coming up, and I wanted to invite you to this. So I want to explain what my identity reset is, and we kick it off coming up this next week. So make sure you check out the dates because this is going to be essential. I am giving you a deep discount, and I just want to be able to let you know what we're doing because this is the deep work that got me the results that I have today. Having a big business, getting on big stages, launching a book in Times Square, getting a TEDx in Florence, Italy, being on some of the biggest stages, you name it, it's because of the deep work that I've done on myself. So I want to share some of this stuff with you. So let me just dive in. Let me get to the slides. Not the right page. Here we go. Okay, so this is a 90-day emotional mastery experience. This is an identity reset. So it's really breaking through some of the biggest things that might be blocking you, sabotages, limiting beliefs, sometimes negative emotions, things that we've locked into our bodies and into our minds. And so I kind of want to break down how we're going to do this. This is not this course this 12 weeks that we're doing, it's not a course. It's going to be actually doing the work to clear it out. I will teach you at the very beginning what some of these things are, how they are created in our first session, and then the rest. We're diving in and we are doing the work. And so, if you're ready to really clear this out and to really speed up, I mean, if I wish I would have had these tools when I was a therapist because I could have gotten massive results for people so quickly without re traumatizing, without reliving, without having to tell the story again. This is the way to do it. So before we begin, let's acknowledge something. All of the programs that you've been living by are not your fault. They are defaults. They are defaults that you've learned since you were a child. And so a lot of us are still operating from our childlike mind. And sometimes our inner child's driving the bus. And so maybe you're not closing the sales you want, even when you work hard at it. Maybe you feel stuck at an income roller coaster or an income ceiling. I would tell you that one. That's one that's really big. You keep sabotaging right when things start to go well. I know there's a lot of people that do that. I used to do that as well. And you know what to do. You just can't seem to make yourself do it consistently because you know you're going to get the results, but something keeps coming up. Problem isn't effort. You've been efforting it out. Doing is not helping, right? So let's go under and see what's going on. So here's how our subconscious mind works. Your subconscious mind is 90% of what goes on. Only 10% is your actual conscious mind. Your unconscious mind or subconscious mind is the one running all of the other patterns, beliefs, feelings, results, behaviors, all of those things. And so this is really autopilot. This is how you react to something and don't even realize why you react to something. This is why somebody shows up and they trigger you and you're like, oh, I can't stand that type of person. It's these kinds of things, and you don't understand where they come from. Because here's what happens between 0 and 5 years old. Stanford did a study from 0 to 5 years old. You have 50% of who you are, where you belong in the world, where you fit, and how the world works already programmed in. And think about that. That's your parents, your grandparents, whoever that immediate family is to you, they're creating that before you were 5 years old. 50%. From then you go into the school from 6 to 10 or 6 to 9. Think about this. Now you're in school, you have teachers, you have peers, you have maybe some other influences. Now maybe you're on social media, you're watching YouTube, you're getting influenced a lot more. So that's 30%. So by the time you're 9 years old, 80% is already programmed in. And so when you get to your older ages between 12 and 18, or 10 and 18, you really have only 5 more%. And think about this. If you could go back to your high school per self, what would you say? I know what I would say. You know what? You think you're ugly. You think you're stupid. You think you're fat. You are not any of those things. And stop believing the voice in your head. None of that's true. And stop collecting the evidence that it is true. Because when you believe something, you go around collecting more evidence of it because it makes sense. Your brain wants to be right. And as a therapist, I was realizing how much people's brain wants to be right. And so we make up stories. We do all these things to in order for it to fit inside the file cabinet boxes, the files that you've always had. You know, growing up, I thought I was stupid. I had a math teacher tell me I was a dumb blonde and wouldn't amount to anything. But under that, I had a 147 IQ. But I believed them. I believed the world around me, and I kept finding more and more people who believed that it was dumb, when all along I wasn't. How many of you have been collecting evidence on something that no longer serves you? That's what's happening. So 95% of what we know about ourselves, where we fit in the world, how the world works, and who we believe we are is programmed in at 18. And I know you don't want to be operating your life or your business that is an 18-year-old, right? So here's what happens. Something happens externally. We have 130 million bits per second coming in to our brain at all times. That's our senses. That's everything going around me. I can hear the fan. I can feel the fan. I'm blocking out some of these things. I'm doing things that while I'm being focused here, but some of those things we just kind of block out. Have you ever noticed how, like, if I'm sitting here, I look at the camera, but everything else around me kind of goes gray, right? Because I'm focused here on the camera. Well, think about how we do that on a daily basis. There's so much content, so much data that we can only take in 11 million bits per second. So what's happening to those things? We will go into that. Where do those things go? Well, here's also what's running the big six emotions. You have anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, shame. These things have been locked in. Emotions are where your brain takes in the most content. Oh my gosh, this is so intense. I'm in front of the room and I'm so scared to speak. It locks in. I'm afraid. There's a fear of being rejected. There's a fear of people seeing me. There's a fear people are going to think something of me, right? And so when that happens, your brain locks it in and says, never again. Never again do I want to feel this. So it avoids things and it won't let you go that deep. Anger. How many people have anger towards someone in their past? How much is that affecting your life? Anger drives people pleasing, control, and resentment. Sadness drives the numbing, the grief, the disconnection. Fear gets you the avoidance, hiding out, not going to do that again. Hurt also gets you to avoid, and it drives trust wounds, and you withdraw. Or maybe you break up with someone before they can break up with you. I used to do that one. I wanted to be the one in charge. I didn't want to get hurt by anybody else, so I would hurt instead. Guilt. How many of us have guilt? And so overgiving, self-sacrifice, doing things for everyone else, and you're on the back burner. And then shame, not enough, and driven by perfectionism. I used to always believe I wasn't enough until I did some of this work and I had a huge epiphany and breakthrough to that. And that's some of the things we're going to do. These are not who you are. They're not personality traits. These are just unprocessed experiences that are locked into your nervous system. And so every sabotage pattern, block, belief is coming up to keep you safe. It's just suppressing these feelings. And so we're going to be able to address these and rewire these to be a positive emotion instead of a negative emotion. And so when we have unprocessed emotions and you start to believe that's your identity, that voice in your head. Now, let me tell you, I taught my daughter this. She's 10. I taught it to her when she was 8. And I said, that voice in your head that tells you're not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not tall enough, not prepared enough, whatever, what a not enough. That is not your voice. So we actually gave it a name. And Brene Brown talked to me about this right after I had my daughter. She was at a talk and I asked her this question, how do we teach this to our children? And she says, give it a name. So my daughter's interior name is Karen. I did not know she knew what that meant, but she named her Karen. And mine's Felicia because I like to say, bye, Felicia. So we kind of joke around here. We say, bye, Felicia, and take Karen with you. So these are fun things that you can teach your children as well, especially when you have the tools. But here's what happens. We store the emotion, say childhood shame. Then it becomes a limiting belief like I'm not enough. And then you have this protective pattern, or you either hide out, you don't want to be seen, you don't do the things, you don't take the risks, or you're driven by perfection. That's what we tend to do when we're trying to avoid the not enough belief system. And then what happens is you get a repeated result over and over and over. That income ceiling we've talked about. Well, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe, other people are better than I am. And that's what happens a lot in business. That voice, that Felicia, that Karen drives these things, but she's the protector. She's trying to protect you from the things that you have been avoiding. So you can stay invisible, you can undercharge, you can avoid putting yourself out there. You can overgive, under receive, and feel worthy feel wrong for charging what you're worth, right? These are all things I see in business owners every day. Because most of you know what you're doing. You're brilliant at what you do. You get really good results, but you don't have a strategy problem. You have a knowledge problem. You actually have an identity problem. And identity is exactly what we fix in this. And you think about money blocks. Money is actually a behavior. It's 80% behavior. And that behavior is driven by what you believe about yourself. So if you change your identity, you can change everything. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing. This is not a let's talk about your feelings program. This is a structured step-by-step emotional rewiring system designed to help you take control of your inner world, the inner dialogue, and get different results. We're going to have 3 phases in this journey. It's 90 days, 6 weeks, it's 12 weeks. We're going to first do the big 6, those anger, fear, emotion, the anger, fear, sadness, guilt, hurt, shame, and fear. We'll clear all of those out and rewire them. Then we're going to go into some of the beliefs of like not good enough. We're going to go into safety. How many of you feel like the world's not safe? There is a piece of me because my father died when I was 10. Then my mom got malignant melanoma when I was 15 and she was sentenced to a year to live. Both of those made me feel very unsafe in the world. And so I had to understand, I had to clear that out so that I could begin to live the life and to live into my full potential. So you're going to get deep subconscious rewiring. You're going to get emotional clearing. Like I said, we're going to jump on and we're going to close eye exercise, do the work. We're going to be meeting every Monday from 10:30 to noon Pacific Standard Time and for the next 12 weeks. So whenever you jump into here, you also have these recorded. So you'll be able, if you miss them, you can go back and watch them at your convenience. Maybe that time doesn't work for you, but maybe at night or maybe in the morning before you get ready for work, you listen to it. And that will help you do the same exact thing because just because it's on a recording does not mean it doesn't work. So we're going to have all of that. You'll get identity level transformation and lasting behavior changes. Here's the 3 phases. Identity audit, who we are, what's not working, all the things. What are the big 6? Let's uncover some of those things. I have a quiz that I'm going to have you all take so that you get a feedback readout result report from me, that I have a system that does that for you. You answer these questions, and based on your language and based on what you say, it can find hidden narratives, hidden limiting beliefs that maybe you don't even know you have. Then the other weeks, we're going to start clearing those out right away. And then we're going to start doing nervous system regulation and safety work. We're going to release the past, stop the cycle, and change the pattern. Now, the beautiful thing about this is when you do this work for yourself, you can change it 8 generations ahead of you because you're no longer carrying it. You're breaking the cycle and no longer continuing it. Our cycles and some of the stuff is stuck in our DNA. When we do some of this work, some of these things might have been passed on to you through DNA. It might not even be something that you actually believe about yourself, but you feel so strongly about it because it came from before you were even born. And then we're going to decide who our future self is, our future goals, and we're going to set those goals out there and be pulled into our new future self, our new reality. And that's where the fun begins. So here's your 12-week roadmap. These are the things we're going to do over the 12 weeks. And you're going to be able to have all of the information that you need to continue to do this work even after we're done. Or after we're done, we do the 12 weeks, you pick one part of your life, maybe you pick health. You want to redo it, then maybe you do it again and you do it on relationships. You do it on spirituality. You do it on money. You do it on different parts of your life. And each one of those, you can break through all of these things in underneath that umbrella of your what part of your life you want to change. If you think about like the life wheel, what part do you really want to change? What's not working for you? So this is the beautiful work that you can get to do with us. And so this is really what the breakthrough does. It dismantles the not enough programming, releases toxic self-judgment and perfectionism, heals the visibility and worthiness wounds, rebuilds confidence and self-worth from within, where you stop hiding and you start showing up as who you actually are. I've asked many people on this planet what makes people sexy. The sexiest thing is being unapologetically you at all times. And I get to live that. You see me on stages, you see me here, you see me with my kids. I am the same person because I know myself. I love myself. I believe in myself. And it took a little work to get here, but I get to help you now do that. And so the week up to week 5, we do the fear breakthrough. That's a huge one where you're afraid to take action. Instead, you're going to build that confidence and you're going to start taking action. And you're going to start doing the things that you were afraid to do. Or maybe you just kept avoiding it, right? Like maybe the sales calls. Yeah, that happens. And so now you're going to have a newfound confidence. And then you can charge what you're worth. When you start having those sales calls, you start making those sales calls, maybe you need to up your prices. We're going to talk about that in this. We're going to work through that so that you can get your value. There are times I didn't realize I was playing small. I was charging $100,000 and then I saw someone doing the same exact work with less goodness, less results, and pay charging twice as much as I was. And so sometimes it's letting that stuff go. And I will tell you, in this work, the first time I did this work, I was in an online event like this, and I set a goal to make $100,000 in that weekend. I had no idea if that could even happen. I was like, there's no way. And I started making a list. Who could I call? Who could I call? What can I sell? What can I sell? And I was thinking, okay, to sell 20,000. I sold 20,000. And then I thought for a second, what if I made one call and pitched $100,000? That's when I started charging more. And that day, I got it. And it completely changed my life from there on and completely changed my business. So, how would you like to start charging way more money because you know you're worth it? And if you don't know you're worth it, you will figure that out inside this program. So we're going to go through all of those things. You'll be able to break through limiting beliefs, heal emotional blocks, rewire your relationships with money, success, receiving, feel lighter and safer in your body, feel deeper confidence and self-trust that maybe you didn't have or haven't had in a long time. You'll stop overthinking and people pleasing. And you'll embody the version of you were meant to be, to become. So these are some of the beautiful things: breaking free of cycles, being able to receive more money and success and recognition without guilt, confidence in your pricing, value in your voice, visibility, decisiveness, and fully expressed and aligned on the inside, showing it on the outside. When people go, oh my God, what have you done? What's going on here? I'm like, I just did some deep work. So normally this program is $597, but I'm going to give you guys a discount code. And I'm going to put it in the link below. I know that, you know, the program, if you go on my regular website, you will find it for $597. But if you click in the link below in this email, you will be able to get the $297. Now, listen, we start Monday. And you can join later on. But I'm going to tell you the beauty of having everybody in the room and doing this all at once, even though you guys are doing it in your own special places in the world, the community, the collaboration of the energy of everybody doing it at the same time actually helps you release faster. So stop saying, like, I want you to stop thinking about staying stuck. It's already costing you, right? What's that costing you? It's way more than $297. You have nothing to lose. And you know what? If you go through this, the first 30 days, I will give you your money back if you do not like it. I will tell you, you will not want to leave after the second session, because when we start doing the session work, you're going to realize how powerful this is. So we only have a few spots. We're keeping this very limited, and I already have 10 people in. So we don't have very many spots. So if you're going to take the spot, you need to book it now. So I don't want you to miss out on this. Okay. And this is for you if you're working hard and still feeling stuck, if you know you're capable of more and not living to your full potential. And all of these things are important, because if you're reading this now and if you're here and you're going, wow, yeah, these are some of the things that have really been sticking with me. And if you don't know, take the quiz and I'll get you a report within 12 hours and you will see how deeply your programs have been wired for you. All right. So if you know and it's going okay, or if you don't know and you're like, I want to know, this is the thing for you. So you can stop surviving and start becoming fully yourself. I can't wait to do this work with you. It's an honor and privilege to do this work. And so I can't wait to see you inside.